This week's meme shows a good old-fashioned American girl brandishing her Second Amendment peacemaker and the Holy Bible in front of the good old stars and stripes. It's enough to bring tears to Uncle Sam's eyes, if only he weren't a fictitious character. Next is a Muslim girl holding the Quran and strapped head to toe in weaponry. It's enough to bring tears to Bin Laden's eyes, if only he weren't dead. Then we have a gentleman sporting some Evolution of Man t-shirt, posing with a lot of science books, a telescope, and some oddly placed indoor plants. It's enough to make Richard Dawkins cry. If only he was capable of crying. The message is simple. People who look to one religious book for truth are ignorant and dangerous. People who look to multiple books for truth are educated and, nerds? Not dangerous, perhaps? But there are so many things wrong with this meme, it's ridiculous. And I'm not just talking about the oddly placed things in the nerds' living quarters either. Though, come on, the telescope and bookcase are directly in the middle of the room. And why are the plants encroaching on either side? Clearly there is no book on feng shui in that bookshelf, and I hate to have this guy as a roommate. So let's explore the logical fallacies. For starters, simplifying everything down to the two false alternatives of one book versus many, that's just ridiculous. We know that the woman in the top left obviously reads other books and believes truth can be achieved through these other books also. It's not like she won't believe anything in a newspaper because it didn't come from the Bible. It's not like the Bible was, is, and will be the only thing she ever reads. For all we know, she may even be a theistic evolutionist, believing in the Bible and evolution, and in fact, may even agree with the nerd on many subjects. She may have a thorough education in science for all we know, because simply holding a Bible with an assault rifle does not indicate a lack of education in science. Furthermore, the two options are further false in the sense that if the woman only read and adhered to one book, let's say something written by Christopher Hitchens, and the nerd only read from his enormous collection of Goosebumps and Babysitter's Club books, who would atheists believe is more credible? Surely she would be considered more credible from atheists because she read Hitchens. But the nerd does have a lot more books, so clearly the number of books doesn't equate to intelligence and logic. And that's another thing. This guy really doesn't have that many books. Not to be arrogant or toot my own horn or anything, but I have way more science and philosophy books, and I have a much larger telescope than this guy, and I'm a Christian. I can only imagine the number of science books chemist James Tour or astronomer Danny Faulkner have, and they're not atheists. See, the number of science books you own does not equate to a non-religious position, nor does it equate to intelligence and logic, especially when you look at statistics that show that people do not read 57% of the books they own to completion. Furthermore, this meme makes the hasty generalization of religious individuals as being dangerous and violent, because, very educated people with lots of science books are never dangerous. Certainly not all those highly educated, high IQ'd serial killers. Certainly not Hitler's crazy doctors who tortured the crap out of people. Those guys must have been dumb as rocks to do such violent things to people. That is, unless intelligence and logic does not equate to peace and benevolence. At the end of the day, this nerd is not impressing me with his handful of science books, because the meme generalizes theists as ignorant and dangerous, and atheists as intelligent and peaceful. And furthermore, the fallacy that intelligence and peace is derived from the number of science books you pose with, and the fallacy that many books is always better than one book. Fallacy, fallacy, with a side dish of fallacy. Well, now that the video is over, you can go return all those books to the library and continue spying on the hot girl next door with your telescope, because, come on, no one believed you actually looked at the sky with that thing, you big creepo.